It's my best friend. It's my best friend. It's my boy. I used to buy property for him. I used to buy property for him.
And you went ahead to say it's okay.
I'm not there.
What you just watched was the shocking confession of one of the suspects arrested for the murder of Paulinus Okon. This was the moment the police paraded the suspects responsible for the sudden disappearance and murder of the businessman. But what makes this case even more chilling is this. Among those paraded by the Delta State Police Command was the victim's best friend, his best friend. In today's episode, we count down real Nigerian cases where individuals unalive people who once called them best friends. Because sometimes the most dangerous person in your life isn't a stranger. It's the one who already has your trust. In this episode, we will uncover 4 chilling true stories of friendship, betrayal, and death. Let's begin with case number 1, the murder of Paulinus Okon. This man trusted his best friend with his life only to be betrayed in the most unthinkable way. In 2024, the Delta State Police uncovered the chilling murder of Paulinus Okon, a hard-working businessman and boutique owner who was allegedly killed by his own best friend, Efe Onoti, all because of greed. It all began when Paulinus was reported missing on September 8, 2024 by his brother after he went out with his friend, Efe Onoti. Efe denied knowing what happened to his best friend and even came to the victim's house to ask his family about him. He's the type of friend you never pray to have because police investigations revealed that he not only stole from his friend, but he also murdered him. The thing is, Efe, who is a real estate agent, advertised the property to his friend Paulinus. The selling price of the building was 30 million naira. Paulinus was interested and paid Efe the exact amount to help him purchase the property. He paid in 3 installments. But instead of buying the house, Efe diverted the money, buying 2 plots of land and started building a duplex for himself. When Paulinus began asking for updates about the house, Efe reportedly panicked. He had spent the entire 30 million naira and didn't know how to face his friend. And from that moment, he started plotting pure evil. On September 8, 2024, Paulinus went out with Efe. When he didn't return home, his brother reported him missing at the police station. Efe played the part of a worried friend. He even visited Paulinus' home, asking about his whereabouts and pretending to be concerned. But the family quickly became suspicious. They knew Paulinus had gone out with Efe that day. Still, Efe denied it completely. Then came a shocking twist. Efe returned days later, claiming that a herbalist could help find his friend. He demanded 500,000 naira from his best friend's family, pretending it was for a spiritual consultation to determine his friend's whereabouts. Shortly after, he went further, telling the family that Paulinus had been kidnapped. To make matters worse, he allegedly collected a total of 20.7 million naira in ransom, claiming he was in touch with the kidnappers. All the while, Paulinus' family hoped and prayed that he would return home. But their trust was betrayed by the very person they believed was helping them. Shortly after, Efe's story began to fall apart, and soon it was obvious that he had something to hide. Police officers arrested Efe, and the case was transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department, SCID, in Asaba. But Efe remained uncooperative, making vague, inconsistent statements. However, when the Delta State Commissioner of Police ordered a full intelligence-led investigation, the DPO of Ekpan Division took charge of the case. And what followed was a shocking confession that exposed the truth behind Paulinus' disappearance. The truth came out when another suspect, Okemute Ogaga, age 48, was arrested. He reportedly confessed that he could no longer keep the secret. According to him, on the night of September 8, Efe brought Paulinus to Orere River in Otokutu, where he was handed over to his accomplices, including a herbalist named Lawrence Joseph, and another man called Sunday Ikpeba. This man narrated what happened. He said, Efe brought Paulinus to the Orere River in Otokutu and asked them to kill him. Efe paid his accomplices in 2 installments, first the sum of 400,000 naira, then another installment of 280,000 naira. He further stated that on that fateful day, Efe, Sunday Ikpeba, and a 30-year-old herbalist known as Lawrence Joseph tied Paulinus Okon to a stake at night near Orere River and unalived him. Part of the victim's remains were thrown into the river, while the herbalist took Paulinus' other remains and buried them at a shrine in Otokutu. Following this confession, police operatives were led to the shrine in question, where the remains of Paulinus were recovered. During further questioning, Efe finally admitted to the crime. He told the investigators that he had spent the 30 million naira his friend gave him for the house and that he didn't know how to explain what happened. So he decided to eliminate his friend rather than confess. The Delta State Police Command confirmed that 4 suspects, including Efe, are now in custody as investigations continue. The late Paulinus was a gentle, hardworking man who ran a successful boutique in Otokutu community, Ughelli South local government area of Delta State. He was loved by many and trusted Efe completely, a trust that would sadly lead to his death. The story sparked outrage across social media, with Nigerians calling for justice for Paulinus and his grieving family. The second case is the Ondo State motorcycle killer. In 2024, when a motorcycle owner reported to the police station that his rider and his motorcycle were missing, no one expected that the police would uncover a shocking betrayal that ended in murder. Detectives from Ondo State Police Command arrested Dolapo Daniel Babalola, who confessed to killing his childhood friend, Okoyemi Oyelaki, before stealing his motorcycle. Police say 39-year-old food seller Dolapo Babalola wasn't just a petty motorcycle thief. He was a serial killer who confessed to killing at least 5 people, including his own cousin and childhood friend, all in the name of money. Okoyemi Oyelaki, a 34-year-old commercial motorcycle rider and father of 1, disappeared after he was hired by his friend Dolapo for a supposed trip from Ondo town to Ukeigbo. According to police, Dolapo the suspected killer and his partner Sikiru Mutiu lured Okoyemi under the pretense of going to inspect a farm. When they got to a lonely area in Ukeigbo, they asked him to stop, and that was where the betrayal happened. Dolapo told investigators that his partner grabbed Okoyemi from behind while he smashed his head repeatedly with a heavy stone, and then a stick until he stopped breathing. The 2 men then dragged his lifeless body into a nearby bush, dumped it inside a pit, and covered it with leaves before fleeing with the motorcycle. 10 days later, police tracked Dolapo through the deceased's phone records and arrested him in Ondo town. When detectives pressed him, he confessed to the killing and led officers to the exact spot where Okoyemi's body was exhumed. At first, Dolapo claimed it was the work of the devil. But as interrogations deepened, the case grew darker. He admitted that Okoyemi's murder wasn't his first. He confessed that he killed 5 people, including his cousin and his friend. Dolapo also confessed that anyone who recognized him during a snatch, he would hit them with a stone and unalive them. He even confessed to taking the victim's body parts to a herbalist who promised to prepare a oracle for him. Police investigations later confirmed his confessions. Between 2021 and 2024, Dolapo had operated across Ondo, Ekiti, Osun, and Kogi states, killing riders and selling their stolen motorcycles to buyers in Ibadan for as low as 130,000 naira each. According to police findings, Dolapo was not acting alone. Several accomplices, including 2 herbalists and receivers of stolen bikes, were arrested. Another suspect allegedly helped forge fake documents to sell the stolen motorcycles. Police have so far discovered 7 motorcycles from the network. Police investigations revealed that in April 2023, Dolapo murdered a motorcyclist in Kaba, Kogi State, and another along Ilesha Road in Osun State. Both victims had body parts removed for money magic. In June 2023, he killed the rider in Ondo Town and dumped the remains inside a farm. And in October 2023, he had an accomplice deceived a friend called Joel Olagoke and killed him, delivering him to Abalis for prosperity magic. Dolapo, who once sold oranges at the roadside, is now accused of selling parts for money, leaving behind a trail of families, mourning sons, cousins, and brothers who never returned home. Now let's move on to the third case, the case of the ex-convict who killed his close friend after serving him food in Abuja. Residents of Dantata village in Abuja were thrown into shock after a 23-year-old ex-convict, Ilyasu Mohammed, allegedly killed his close friend, Safilai Mohammed, shortly after serving him food inside his home. According to Federal Capital Territory Police Command, the tragic incident occurred on February 13, 2025 around 1:30 p.m. Police operatives were alerted through a distress call and arrived at the scene to find Safilai's lifeless body after suffering cutlass wounds. Investigations revealed that Mohammed had invited the victim to his house under the pretense of friendship. While Safilai was eating, the suspect suddenly attacked him with a cutlass, hitting him several times until he collapsed. Further investigation uncovered that Ilyasu Mohammed was an ex-convict and a member of a criminal syndicate that targets motorcyclists. During interrogation, he confessed to the killing and admitted that his gang, led by a man identified as Hassan, specializes in luring and attacking motorcycle owners to steal their bikes. The case has left many Abuja residents disturbed that a man could welcome his own friend into his home, share a meal with him, and then attack him in cold blood. Before we go on to the final case, share your experience about friends turned enemies in the comment section. The fourth and final case is the UNIJOS student who killed his best friend and buried him in a shallow grave after a studio session. Shock and tension have gripped the University of Jos community after a 200-level student, Nampon Timnan, allegedly killed his close friend, a fellow student, Peter Mafuyai, and buried him in a shallow grave behind their off-campus residence. The tragic incident happened on Saturday, October 25, 2025 at Laranto community near the university where both students lived together. According to eyewitnesses, Nampon, a student from the Department of Agriculture, and Peter, a 300-level student from Banking and Finance, were known to be best friends who shared a strong passion for music. They often visited music studios together and had even recorded songs jointly. On the day of the incident, the two friends reportedly played football, returned home, and later went to a music studio for a recording session. After they returned, witnesses said Nampon suddenly picked up a machete. When questioned by others in the compound about what he intended to do with it, he casually replied that he needed it for something. Moments later, he allegedly attacked Peter, striking him several times. A neighbor said they heard shouting and ran out. People asked him why he attacked his friend, but he didn't say anything. Many ran to get help, but by the time they returned, he had already buried Peter behind the house. The horrific act drew the attention of other students who immediately alerted the police. Officers from the Laranto division arrived at the scene around 9:30 a.m. and arrested the suspect. The victim's remains were exhumed and taken to the Bingham University Teaching Hospital for autopsy. A police source confirmed the arrest, revealing that early investigations suggest a possible disagreement linked to the music project both friends were working on before the attack. The Plateau State Police Command has begun full interrogation of the suspect and questioning of other students who were close to the two friends to determine the true motive behind the killing. As the investigations continue, the university community remains in deep shock, with students expressing disbelief that two close friends, known for their creativity and friendship, could end in such a tragic way. The incident has also sparked renewed conversations about mental health, anger management, and emotional support for students on Nigerian campuses, with calls for stronger counseling systems to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Kindly share your thoughts about today's episode in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video.